Karen stormed into the gleaming Ferrari showroom like a hurricane in high heels, her designer purse swinging wildly from her elbow, as if it were a weapon of mass entitlement. The air was thick with the scent of polished leather and new car dreams, but Karen's voice cut through it like a chainsaw through silk. I need a Ferrari, right now. 6-month lease, and don't you dare tell me to wait. Heads turned, sales associates froze mid-pitch. Potential buyers gawked from behind tinted windows of display models, and even the pristine red Enzo in the center seemed to recoil. This wasn't just any customer. This was Karen Montgomery, the self-proclaimed queen of instant gratification. And today, she was on a mission that would turn the luxurious haven into a battlefield of demands and delusions. The showroom, nestled in the heart of Beverly Hills, was a temple to automotive perfection. Sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling glass walls, bouncing off the curvaceous bodies of Ferraris in shades of Rosso, Cosa, and Galo Modena. A soft jazz played in the background, a futile attempt to soothe the high-strung elite who frequented the place. But Karen shattered the serenity the moment her Louboutins clicked across the marble floor. She was in her mid-40s, impeccably dressed in a tailored white pantsuit that screamed, "I know my rights," with blonde highlights that could blind a lesser mortal. Her face, a canvas of perfectly applied makeup, twisted into a scowl that had intimidated baristas and managers alike for years. Behind the reception desk, a young salesman named Alex blinked in confusion. He was new to the job, fresh out of training, with a name tag that read Alexander Voss, sales associate. His suit was sharp, his smile practiced, but nothing had prepared him for this. "Ma'am, welcome to Ferrari of Beverly Hills. How can—" "I save the pleasantries, kid," Karen interrupted, slamming her purse on the counter with a thud that echoed like a gavel. "I saw your ad online. 6-month lease on a 488 Spider. I want it. Now my husband's out of town, and I need something to zip around in while he's gone. Make it happen." She crossed her arms, tapping her foot impatiently, as if the world revolved around her schedule and in her mind. It did. Alex swallowed hard, glancing at his colleague, Maria, who was pretending to organize brochures across the room. Maria shook her head subtly, mouthing "Handle it." He turned back to Karen. "Of course, ma'am. The 488 Spider is an excellent choice, exhilarating performance, open-top freedom. But leases typically require some paperwork, credit checks, and we might need to schedule a test drive." "Paperwork." Karen's voice rose an octave, drawing more stares. "Do I look like I have time for that? I run a successful lifestyle blog, Karen's Kingdom of Class, with over 5,000 followers. I influence people. I demand service." She pulled out her phone, scrolling furiously. "Look, here's the ad. Flexible leasing options. That means now." The ad in question was a generic promo on the dealership's website, touting various financing plans but nothing about instant gratification. Alex tried to explain, but Karen was already on a roll. Her life had been a series of escalations, from returning half-eaten salads at restaurants to berating customer service reps over delayed Amazon deliveries. This Ferrari was her latest conquest, sparked by a midlife itch for speed and status. Her husband, Richard, a mild-mannered accountant, had suggested a practical SUV, but Karen dreamed bigger. Why settle for ordinary when you could demand extraordinary? Alex fumbled for words. The showroom manager, Mr. Lombardi, emerged from his office. A seasoned veteran with salt and pepper hair and a tie that cost more than most people's rent, he had seen his share of divas. "Hey, is there a problem here?" he asked smoothly, his Italian accent adding a touch of elegance. Karen whirled on him. "Problem? Your boy here is stalling? I want that red one over there, the Spider. 6 months, fully loaded, and I drive it out today. No excuses." Mr. Lombardi smiled politely, though his eyes narrowed. "Madam, we appreciate your enthusiasm for our vehicles. The Ferrari 488 Spider is indeed a masterpiece. 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8, 661 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. But leasing involves approvals from our finance team, and inventory must be prepared. Perhaps we can start the process." "Start. I want it finished." Karen's face flushed, matching the car's paint. She began pacing, her heels echoing like gunfire. I got a brunch in an hour and I refuse to show up in my old Mercedes. It's so last season. Do you know who I am? My followers expect luxury. Other customers whispered among themselves. Couple eyeing a Portofino exchanged amused glances, while a lone businessman chuckled into his coffee. Alex, sensing the tension, offered, "Maybe I can show you some alternatives? We have a California tea that's available for immediate no, Ferrari or nothing," Karen snapped. Deep down, her demand stemmed from more than vanity. Life had thrown curveballs lately. Richard's long business trips left her alone in their sprawling mansion. Her blog's growth had plateaued, and she felt invisible in a world obsessed with youth. A Ferrari lease would be her statement, a temporary thrill too. "Reclaim control," Mr. Lombardi sighed. "Let's take this to my office. Perhaps we can expedite things." He gestured toward a sleek glass door, hoping to contain the spectacle in the office. Surrounded by model cars and framed photos of Ferrari legends, Karen plopped into a leather chair. "Finally some action. Make the call. Get me approved." Mr. Lombardi dialed the finance department, explaining the situation in hushed tones. As he waited, he tried small talk. "What draws you to the 488 Spider, Mrs. Montgomery?" "And it's Ms., if you must know. It's the power, the prestige. I deserve it after putting up with mediocrity." She launched into her life story. Growing up in a modest suburb, marrying Richard for stability, building her online empire, one rant at a time. "People think Karens are villains, but we're just assertive." The finance rep came on the line, and after a brief exchange, Mr. Lombardi's face fell. "I'm afraid there's an issue. Our 6-month leases require a substantial down payment and excellent credit." "Based on a quick check, you checked my credit?" "Without permission?" Karen exploded, jumping to her feet. "That's illegal. I'll sue." "No, ma'am. It's standard for inquiries. And unfortunately, there are some ... discrepancies." He didn't elaborate, but Karen knew. A few maxed out cards from impulsive shopping sprees. "This is outrageous. I demand to speak to your superior." She grabbed her phone, starting a live stream on Instagram. "Followers, listen up. Ferrari is discriminating against strong women." The video went viral in minutes. Hashtags like #Karen vs Ferrari trending. Back in the showroom, chaos ensued. Reporters called, curious onlookers gathered outside, and social media buzzed with memes. Mr. Lombardi, sweating now, tried to de-escalate. "Perhaps a longer lease, or we can discuss purchasing options." Karen wasn't having it. 6 months. "It's all I need." "My psychic said change is coming. Maybe a divorce. Who knows? I won't commit long term." As the standoff dragged on, Alex peeked in. "Sir, there's a crowd outside. Should we call security?" Before Mr. Lombardi could respond, Karen's phone rang. It was Richard, alerted by a friend who saw the stream. "Karen, what the hell? Get home now." She hung up, fuming. But then, a twist. An eccentric billionaire, Mr. Vance, who had been browsing incognito, overheard the drama. Amused by her audacity, he approached. "I'll co-sign the lease. On one condition, you." "Let me ride shotgun on your first drive." Karen blinked. "Who are you?" "A fan of bold moves," he grinned, flashing a black Amex. Mr. Lombardi, seeing an opportunity, nodded. Papers were rushed, approvals bypassed with Vance's influence. Within hours, Karen drove off in the Spider, wind whipping her hair, Vance laughing beside her. But the story didn't end there. Over the next 6 months, Karen's life transformed. The Ferrari became her chariot for adventures. Road trips to Napa, photo shoots for her blog, even a charity rally. Her followers skyrocketed to 50,000, drawn to her unapologetic vibe. Richard returned, jealous at first, but inspired to spice up their marriage. Yet, entitlement has consequences. One rainy night, pushing the car's limits on Mulholland Drive, Karen skidded, barely avoiding a crash. Shaken, she realized demands without caution lead to downfall. She returned the Ferrari on time, humbled, and started a new blog series. From Karen to Kindred Spirits. The end, that fateful day in the showroom, wasn't just about a lease it. was a catalyst for change. Karen learned that true power comes not from demands, but from driving one's own destiny, one careful turn at a time. Word count, 1,248. Wait, that's short. Let me expand. Wait, Nora calculating. Actually, upon fleshing out, let's add more. Depth, extending the story as Karen revved the engine for the first time. The V8 roared to life, a symphony of power that vibrated through her bones. Vance, a tech mogul with a penchant for whims, buckled up. Ready for the ride of your life? They peeled out of the showroom, tires screeching, leaving Mr. Lombardi waving weakly. The streets of Beverly Hills blurred into a tapestry of palm trees and luxury boutiques. Karen felt invincible, the wind erasing her frustrations. But Vance had his own agenda. You know, Karen, life's not about demanding. It's about negotiating. Tell me your story. Reluctantly, she opened up. Childhood dreams dashed by practicality. A marriage that felt like a lease itself. Vance listened, sharing his rags to riches tale. By the drive's end, they were laughing like old friends. Over the months, the Ferrari became more than a car. Karen used it for blog content, Ferrari Fridays, where she reviewed high-end spots. Her audience grew, but so did trolls calling her entitled queen. She ignored them, but doubts crept in. One evening at a gala, she met Sophia, a self-made entrepreneur. That car suits you. But what's next after 6 months? The question haunted her. As the lease neared its end, Richard proposed renewal. Together, let's buy one outright as partners. Karen smiled, realizing demands had led to discovery. She returned the Spider, opting for a joint purchase. Her blog evolved, inspiring others to chase dreams without the drama. In retrospect, walking into that showroom was her best impulse. It taught her that sometimes the hook isn't the demand, it's the journey it sparks. Now, expanding further to reach 1850 words, adding backstory. Paragraphs. Karen's life before the showroom was a carefully curated facade. Born in a small town, in Ohio, she had always yearned for the spotlight. Moving to LA in her 20s, she worked odd jobs: waitress, receptionist, until meeting Richard at a networking event. He was stable, she was ambitious. Their marriage was comfortable, but lately, cracks showed. Richard's travels left her alone with her thoughts. And her blog, once a passion, felt stale. The Ferrari idea hit during a sleepless night, scrolling ads. Why not, she thought. I deserve this. In the showroom, as she waited for papers, she reflected on past Karen moments, arguing with a flight attendant over seat upgrades, returning a dress after wearing it. Each victory felt hollow. With Vance's help, the lease was sealed. Driving home, she felt reborn. Months passed with adventures, a weekend in Vegas where she won big at blackjack, a coastal drive to Big Sur where nature's beauty humbled her. The car attracted attention, admirers, envy, even a date offer from a stranger. But challenges arose. Maintenance was pricey. A scratch from a valet led to another rant. Then, a flat tire on the freeway forced her to call roadside assistance, waiting like a commoner. Through it all, Vance mentored her via texts. Use power wisely. Climax came when her blog post about the Ferrari went viral. But for the wrong reasons, a meme page twisted it into Karen steals Ferrari. Hurt, she confronted the online hate, posting a vulnerable response. Followers rallied, sharing their stories. As the 6 months ended, Karen parked the Spider one last time. Thank you, she whispered. She and Richard bought a Roma together, symbolizing partnership. Her blog thrived, focusing on empowerment. The moral: demands can open doors, but growth comes from what you do next.